You're on fire.
You might want to start this before. So welcome everybody. This is Zenzi and Luna, Turning Everything to Gold podcast. We're going to be talking today about traveling and sacred sites and magical experiences and how important getting out on the land is. And just like we have these energy and chakra points in our bodies, we have the same thing around the planet with these really sacred sites. And I know, Luna, that you just got back from a really special trip that I haven't heard about. I actually haven't been. I haven't heard anything. Like, we waited to this moment. So I just want to know, I want to know all about it because it's one place that I've really been drawn to, and I've tried to go on multiple occasions and it never worked. And I feel like if it's not going to be in November, it's going to be, like you were talking about, next year for me. But tell me a little bit about your journey.
So we typically go away for my birthday. This year we were not planning on doing it because we did a big trip for my husband's birthday, and we decided, well, actually my husband thought of it. I had mentioned it last year. One of our mutual friends had talked about, was it one of our, no, it wasn't. I don't even know where it came from. Oh, I had joined a group online, a collective consciousness group, and they were like talking about Mount Shasta. And I love Northern California. It's one of my favorite places to go. I had never been because it's about 4 hours north of San Francisco, but it's 4 hours northeast. So it's really close to the Oregon border. It's only about 2 hours away from Crater Lake. I was thinking, well, my husband suggested maybe we should go away for your birthday. And I was like, oh, okay. So I kind of got the idea, and I was like, oh, I want to go to Guatemala or Costa Rica. There was like 3 places, and he was like, I think we should go to Mount Shasta. You mentioned it. I was like, I didn't even think about that. I was like, yes, we should. So we immediately start watching YouTube videos. I love YouTube. And we find all these, like, I just have to say, like, characters, like people that live there. And one guy, his name is Joseph Sparrow, and he was telling us about a drum circle, and my husband and I are really into drum circles, and he was talking about his drum circle, and then he took people up to his place, his land, in Mount Shasta. It's not on the mountain, but you can see the mountain from where he lives. And I was like, that's a cool dude. And he had all these people. Some of them had walked from like Mexico. They had started on the Pacific Crest Trail, and they had walked up through Mexico. And they were shamans, and they were in the middle of their 40-day fast. It was just like this amazing like group of people. And then we saw this other guy, and his name was Andrew, and he did spiritual retreats at all the sacred sites. They call them vortexes in Sedona, but in Mount Shasta, they call them sacred sites. And he was talking about the sacred sites. And I was like, so I looked him up because we had decided Mount Shasta is where we're going. I booked flights, booked a camper van because we love to do camper van trips.
Love that.
And something was bothering me. I ended up canceling the flights and the camper van because it didn't feel right. Specifically, I think the camper van company that I was going to use, I booked the flight thinking we could get a camper van through the people that we normally book through, and they were going out of business. And I was so sad. I was like, oh my God, you guys are amazing. And so I couldn't do that. So then I like quickly booked something else, and that didn't feel right. And I just canceled everything. I'm like, let's just start all over again. But in the midst of all this, I was looking at Andrew's website. It's called mountshasta-retreats.net. And I was like, oh, I think a full day might be a little bit too much, a half day. And my angel number is 555. And the cost of the half day was 555. So I was like, okay. Like, it's just like when things happen, like the confirmation comes in, you're just like, okay, this is where we're meant to be. So booked that before I even had a camper van or a flight again. Booked all of that. The flights turned out to be cheaper. Camper van turned out to be cheaper. Like, it just all, when I did it, when I was a little bit unsure, it didn't feel aligned. And when I took a breath and I paused and I went back, everything really aligned very nicely. So we got up on the day 3 of the shutdown. We got to the airport. That's because
When you say shut down, day 3.
the government was shutting
Oh.
down. So I was
right,
then
and the
nervous
timing.
because of,
What's
the
happening?
air traffic controllers and the TSA being government. I was like, are we even going to be able to get out? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make an appointment to go through TSA so I know I'll get through. It's pretty soon in the process. I'm pretty sure it won't be a problem. It wasn't. We got into San Francisco, got over to the camper van, took off, and it was just magical. Like the rainbows on the way there. Mm-hmm. That first night, we decided we were going to stop at, we like to do all the national parks. So there's the Lassen National Volcanic Park, which is a volcano in Northern California. And we stayed overnight there, 2 nights, hiked the mountain there. And you can see, as you're driving to that national park, you can see the Mount Shasta, which is about 100 miles away. And so exciting.
Give us the date, so if people are interested, and the weather, like what was it like? Oh my God,
it was perfect. The beginning of October, we went October 3rd to the 12th, and the weather was perfect. It was probably about late 60s, early 70s during the day, and then at night it did get a little chilly. I don't think it ever got colder than 44 degrees. I think that was the coldest night we had. It was fine in the camper van. We had if you have a 30-degree sleeping bag, totally fine. Totally comfortable. And now I'm like reliving it and thinking about all the things. And I'm like, I can't wait to talk about this because it was amazing. So the first night we were just exhausted by the time we got there. And we probably made like some really poor choices. We decided to take the shortcut and go up a mountain and down. And like, we did not have a full tank of gas. We did not know where we were going. It is totally pitch black dark out there. But we're like, okay, we found we did dispersed camping too. We didn't do normal campsites where there's like facilities. So there's a great website for dispersed camping where you can just pull off, and there's a lot of times there was like a fire ring, and it was amazing. So we found a dispersed campsite. We stayed there that first night. We woke up the next morning, and the gas stove in the camper van wouldn't work. It didn't work the whole trip. And we're like, oh, that's fine. We just cooked our sausages. Like, we can't have eggs, but we'll just cook our sausages on our s'more sticks. And my husband can build fires and do all of that stuff and cook over a fire. Thank you, Jesus, for bringing him into my life. And then we're like, okay, where are we going? And we just took off to the national park, which was free because, again, everything is happening for us. Government shutdown. Everything was free, and the people there were lovely. We hiked all day. We went there's a place called the Subway Caves. It's where the lava overflowed or came down onto the earth, and then water went through it. So it made like a series of caves, which was dark and amazing, and it was everywhere you went. It was just so beautiful there.
Did you just look at a map and say, this is where I'm going? Did you feel it intuitively, or it's just kind of the path that you had already blocked out?
We looked at things, and then we're like, when we get there, we'll know where we want to go.
Okay.
So that's exactly what we did. We kind of had an idea of what was there, and when we got there, like after we finished our hike, we were like, oh, what are we going to do next? And he's like, let's go do the Subway Cave. That's close by. And I was like, yeah, let's go do it. So we went and did that, and then we found this amazing campsite in the middle of nowhere. Like, nobody was there. Fire ring. And in Northern California in October, because their burn bans are usually from June to end of October, but they had just, thank you, Evie. They had just gotten rain, so there was no burn ban in place. Wow. The rain that she was praying
that she was talking about. Okay, we're going to do, the next one is going to be synchronicity. We're going to talk about synchronicities.
Yes.
But can you explain a little bit? I know we're going to do another one specifically
Yeah.
on the signs and symbols and spirit speaking, the synchronicities, magic of the universe, which is awesome. But tell me about, she went, like so many people that were connected and to our group
Yes.
didn't know and were
Yes.
going at around about the same time. So just say a little bit about what happened there.
So when we first started planning this at the end of August, we didn't know this, but a woman in our group was traveling there, and she was meeting with, I believe, a shaman. I'm not even sure.
Yeah. Probably some of the people hiking through.
And I think, honestly, when we got home on Friday night, we were like, I think she's talking about that guy that stays at Joseph Sparrow's camp, because he had hiked up from Mexico and didn't have a phone, didn't have anything. And we saw them when we were there, as a matter of fact. And he came to the drum circle. We did go to the drum circle. But she was there, and a wildfire had broken out from lightning. And she had been there at the time, and she was, and her group were with this shaman and spiritual guide, and they were praying for rain. And then the rain came. And then, so we were able to, as long as you had a permit, which you can go online and get, you could light a fire in the wild in California.
So you came, maybe 2 weeks after her, or a week after she
left
there.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks after she had left there.
Isn't
and then
that
Lisa, another girl in our group, she had gone in the midst of Evie and myself going.
It's just wild.
It was crazy.
It's wild.
And
love
when
it.
I said, I mean, at first I thought she said I was in Manchester, and I was like, oh, Molly's, because my daughter was traveling. She's in Manchester, England right now. And I was like, oh, that's funny. And then I realized she's talking about Mount Shasta. She said Mount Shasta. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's even crazier. So, yeah. So the three of us were all there in within a month.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was
and
crazy.
The rain that she talked about allowed you, so the timing with everything, even you booking.
Yeah.
And then it didn't work out, or didn't feel right, or things weren't working out, really, so you could get into the time, and every door opened.
Yes.
It's time for you to go.
Yeah,
time for you to be present there.
It was definitely what I needed. It was closing out a year, because again, I went for my birthday, and when I got in touch with Andrew, who was doing the spiritual retreat, he was like, birthdays are a great time to do this type of energy work. There's a lot of grace during that time. There's a lot of healing that can come from it. So he was like all for it, and that was amazing. So we decided we wanted to be in Mount Shasta first Sunday, because they do a drum circle all day on Sunday at the community park, which is also the headwaters of the Sacramento River. And so we got in the car and we found this great little donut place. It's called Heavenly Donuts.
Oh, precious.
They were the lightest, fluffiest, and I love Sedonuts.
Sedonuts.
I love Sedona. I'm a donut person.
I love it because
donuts.
You're talking about all these great people, businesses, food, places where you gotta check in.
That's what travel's about, like
yes,
trying new things.
Yes.
So we stopped at Heavenly Donuts, and then we had to stop at Walmart too, because we got a one flame cooking thing. So just in case we couldn't get a fire going, or we weren't allowed to, because we didn't know what was going to be happening down the road. So we got that, and then we were there probably around noon, and immediately I'm like running over to the headwaters, because I got to fill my water bottle, because it's like the most sacred water that comes off the mountain. And you just drink it straight from the source. Like, you don't boil it. It's totally fine to drink. When I got there, there was nobody there, and we went and we listened to the drum circle, and we just like laid there and like felt the energy of the mountain, because Mount Shasta is also, it's on the mountain. The town is on the mountain. So there's a lot of like high vibrational energy. And there were just like so many characters. Like, this woman showed up and she was just handing out oranges to everyone, and she had her maracas. She had to have been in her 80s. Just this like, and just hugging everyone. And there were people playing flutes, and there were children. It was just like what probably Woodstock was like. But just, this is how they live their life. And I was like, this is so beautiful to me. So we went for a little hike around the park, And then we went back to the headwaters to fill up our water bottles again. And there was like, it was standing room only over there. People with like huge 5-gallon, like because this is the water that they drink daily, regularly. So we're like, oh my gosh. So we waited, wow. We filled up our water. There was a guy he wasn't in the water, but he was on the rocks, like where the water was flowing by, like doing his exercises. Like he was a vibe. He was vibing. And I met this woman and we were having a conversation as we were walking back to the camper van. I was telling Nick about her, and Nick's like, how'd you get all this information? I'm like, people just talk to me. They tell me everything. I know her husband is a tile contractor in Mendocino Valley. Like, he was like, how do you know all this? So we were like, so those 2 nights, the first 2 nights in Mount Shasta, we had a campground booked because I didn't know what the situation was going to be. So we had a campground booked, and we stayed at the campground, and it had a beautiful view of Mount Shasta. And that first night we slept great. My biggest takeaway from that first night was the moon. It was going to be a full moon the next day, which was October 6th. It was the full harvest supermoon. But like the night before, the couple nights before, a couple nights after, it's pretty full. It was almost like, can someone turn that light off over there? And then you realized, that happened multiple times on this trip. And then you realize that's not the light, that's the moon. And it was like so beautiful and powerful. So we got up the next day. We went to meet Andrew for the Sacred Sites. He calls it a Sacred Sites tour. And what he does is, we met at his house and we kind of had a discussion of our intentions and what we hope to get from the tour. And of course I cried, because I always cry. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm crying. And then he was like, okay, this is where we're going first, and then this is where we're going to go. And we're like, okay. And I thought, this isn't going to take 4 hours. This is like, and so we get in the car. The first stop we went to was McBride Springs. And now that's, okay, so the headwaters are here. McBride Springs is what feeds the headwaters of the Sacramento River. And we did the healing in 3 phases. So it was a healing retreat.
This is like a long session.
It was like
it almost feels like a tour, but it's
not a tour.
It feels like it's a energy alignment or activation or something.
Exactly,
even I can like feel it in your heart, in your throat, even as you're saying it now.
That's
you
exactly
were totally
what it was.
different when you came back. But I remember I said in class,
I feel
like,
totally different.
You are completely different.
I feel
whatever was going on was
gone.
Removed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah. And so he started with McBride Springs, and you have to kind of like park your car and get out and hike up a little way, and like it's off the beaten path. And he's like, I'm going to show you the special spot. We're like, okay. And it's funny because we had seen this also in the YouTube video, but the guy was like, we're not showing you how to get there, right? But he took us there, and we were like, oh my God. And so Nick and I are standing there, and we're like, oh my God, this is happening. Like it's happening. So we were so excited. And so before we get started, and he started talking about Hawaiian culture, and I was like, we're going to Hawaii next. That was my first thought. And then there's a healing that I like to do that comes in quite frequently for me, and it's called the Ho'aponopono healing, and it's a Hawaiian healing, and it's forgiveness for yourself. So it's I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And you just repeat it. And you just sit in that space of forgiveness for yourself. So that was what we focused on there. And then we filled up our water bottles, because he did also suggest that we come back there with larger things and get as much water as we can, and fill up the camper van's water with that, and fill up our water bottles and try to drink that as much as we could through the whole trip. So that's what we did. We took that advice. And then we went off to, we did all of the clearing that we were going to do there. And then we went to Red Fir Flats. and that's up about probably halfway up the mountain. And at Red Fir Flats, there is the Ascension Rock, which was a secret. I cannot remember the woman's name until the day she died, because she didn't want people to know about it. But it's where you go to clear things, from your past. So we started there, and we did probably about 45-minute meditation. And again, like, you have to experience this for yourself, because I can't even remember the things that he said, but it was like the peace. And then you're just surrounded by all of these trees, and they're covered in lichen, like this springtime green, like lichen, and it is just so beautiful. You just want to hug them. So
you
we
did, because I have pictures.
I did. No, yeah. Not you just want to. You actually will.
Happy pictures of just pure joy. Yeah, that's what
and actually, that's what Shasta means. It's Russian for Shastia, which means pure happiness. So that is like the name of the mountain. And to be honest, I didn't see anybody upset there. I didn't see anybody looking unhappy the whole time we were there at all. So that was amazing. And then we hiked a little bit more, and we went to the Lemurian Healing Rocks. I have to say that was probably the most profound experience for me, because he had put into practice something that kind of we had done with you one time in a session, where you were like, it was there was a book, and what you believe about you that's blocking you, right? So my thought that was blocking me was, and it's something that's I've been told by people in my family my whole life, is you're not as smart as you think you are. So I always felt like I wasn't intelligent, enough. I mean, you're not smart enough to do this. You're not smart enough. You don't know what you're saying. You don't know what you're doing. You're not smart enough. So that was mine. My husband had a separate intention. And then he said, okay, we're going to meditate through that. And then the second part of it was, now write another book of what the opposite intention is, right? What the new thought is. And he was like, it could be, I am smart enough. And mine was, I'm a genius. And then he asked us to say it out loud. And I said, I know that sounds like arrogant.
It's fabulous.
But it's so, what I felt. That's like, that is the thought that came to me. You're a genius. You're a genius. Yeah, it felt authentic.
Remember we're in class and I had you guys write something, and they didn't realize you're going to have to share it with everybody. Yes. And you were so
the trickery that happened.
But because that's how it's truly authentic, and it's coming without, there's no filters on it. If I had said, by the way, we're going to share this, automatically people were like, okay, let me tailor this a little bit. So you were authentic in how you said that, which is brilliant.
And I felt like I could be. Like, I didn't feel any judgment. I knew I wasn't going to get it. I knew I wasn't going to get any judgment from my husband. But this man was, and his story is like, he's a genius. He really is. He went to Princeton. He used to work. He started his own nonprofit, like all of these things. And he was like, but none of that made me happy. All of this outwardly success and what I should be doing and what should make you happy and what other people think should make. He's like, and I came here. I would come here once a year. And then finally I just decided I need to live in that vibration. And he does, excuse me, he does stuff. He does healing retreats all day, every day, he's amazing.
That sounds like the best life. Living your best life.
Literally living your best life. Yeah. So that's the goal now. So we went there, and then, so that was the present. And then the future, we hiked up a little ways. And I will say, because we are in Florida, I'm not used to altitude. The altitude was a lot for me.
What
and then I kind of felt
bad. What altitude were you at?
Up there was probably about 8,000 feet. I think the whole mountain is 14,000. The furthest you can go up in a car is 10,000.
Okay.
So we were probably about 7,000 or 8,000 feet. And so he's like, oh, he's like running up ahead.
He's used to it.
Yeah,
it's different when you come from 55 feet elevation and even go up 4,000. You're gonna already you can exercise, but it's the elevation, it's the air difference. It's so different if you're not used to living in it.
But as I was going up and dying slowly on the way, I was like, okay, when I get home, I have to. And I hate treadmills, but I have to get on because that's the only way you're going to get an incline in Florida.
I love a treadmill. Really? I love a treadmill.
I hate treadmills because you're just looking at the same thing. Like, I love to hike because it's like something new to look at. I love to be outdoors.
You got to put a good show on. And then you don't even realize that you walked for 30 minutes. Well,
it's going to have to be on an incline because I got to get ready. I'm not ready for Sedona.
And now listen, you're going to be half the elevation that you were, but it's just, I think it's natural because of the air is thinner. It's just different when you were from Florida.
Oh, the air is
when I did
thinner.
There's a peak, the highest peak in Arizona is in Flagstaff, and that's Mount Humphreys. Humphreys Peak is what it's called. I think it's 12,633, something like this. And you can drive to 7,000 or 70, something like this. And it's beautiful because the aspens start to change. You can see the colors, and it's really pretty. But it's a pretty big hike. Avid hiker. I hike all the time. Really, all in the mountains. All this. The first probably, it's about 8 hours. It was because I stayed and stopped and take pictures and do hiking and meditation. And hike does meditation, and so it was a full day. For the first hour or two, it was like, I'm like, I don't know. I'd have to stop because I was getting so dizzy.
Yeah.
I was so dizzy. And then I had, this guy came down. He goes, I'm like, thanks for your support. But he says, you're not even you've only been hiking for like an hour. And he's like, and I said, I'm from Florida. Okay. This is 0. We're super high.
I'm killing it here, man.
I'm doing really good. And he just kind of smirked. I made it to the top. Okay. But it just makes you so dizzy, so you got to take your time, and oxygen's good, little snacks are good, but because I know he lives there, the gentleman who was taking you, were you like, can you slow down?
I was like,
can you slow down?
No, I was like, we're going. Like,
you
this
just
is the pace.
You didn't get dizzy?
No.
Dizzy at all? Man,
no, I think also because we had done for us, it was pretty moderate hike in Lassen. And it was, I think we went up 2,500 feet in elevation.
Oh, so you'd been there for a few days.
So we'd been there for a couple days. We were a little bit more acclimatized to it. And it's funny because my husband kept saying, I know you want to quit, but I'm not going to let you. I'm like, and then when we got down, I said, I didn't want to quit. I was telling myself, unless something physically broke on my body, I was going to do it.
That's amazing.
Because we can't get those hikes in Florida. No. Like will go to the state parks or whatever and hike.
There's no, you don't get really inclined whatsoever. How long in full did you hike?
They were very short hikes. So the first one was super short. We literally went from where we parked maybe about half a mile, and then it was the same back. It was that third hike that was like up the hill. We'll call it a hill because it wasn't a mountain, but it was just an ascent the whole way. And then when you get there, it's so beautiful because then you can see the peak of the mountain from where you are. And the place that he took us to was called, I'm going to mess it up, Anandon's, I can't remember, cave. Anyways, it's secret. So
maybe it's good that you
good
don't
luck
know
finding it. But if you can, it's at the Red Fur Flats campground. Or not campground, stop on the mountain. And that was all future. What do you see? What are you calling in? What are your intentions for the future? And, put it out there, give it to the mountain. Manifestation was basically the third piece. And then we, came down, and it was funny because on the way down, he asked about the company that my husband and I work for, and specifically our company president, who a lot of people have a lot of respect for. And my husband gives the very PC company answer, and I'm like, why didn't you tell him the truth? And he's like, because people don't want to hear that. Like, he has a perspective of how this man is. And I was like, yeah, okay. And more on that, I'm sure, in another podcast. But he was super, super sweet. And he was like giving us all kinds of recommendations of places to go and things to do. And, you know, don't go here, like get your crystals here, go here. Like they have, you know, this is more commercial. This is like where.
Tell everybody if I look how pretty. Tell us about this one, because
So
I just got this as a
Lemurian
gift.
crystal, and that is so
I love hearts.
a little bit behind, a little bit of history behind Mount Shasta. There's two civilizations that are ancient. One everyone knows of, which is Atlantis, and then which was in the Atlantic Ocean, and then Lemuria, which was part of the Pacific Ocean. So the Lemurians, it is believed, had a city that's actually in the mountain called Telos, and it's a sacred city within the mountain. It's the reason why the vibration is so high in Mount Shasta. And they have their own crystal. It's a clear quartz. It is for the crown chakra. It's for all the chakras, but specifically the crown. And it's beautiful. It looks a little bit like crackle quartz. It's not. And it is beautiful and sacred to the people that live there.
I love it.
So I got some for everyone.
So is this mined then in that, do you know if it's mined then right around
yes
area? So
yeah,
it's
so
close,
that's
or it's in that
yeah,
specific
so that's where
mountain?
that's
where they
where
got
it
it
comes from.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
And so they have that
I love it.
everywhere there, and I was like,
Quartz,
buying
more
it
and
up.
more and more quartz. I love
Quartz.
quartz.
Amplification.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's it just feels like it's really important and needed at this time. So thank you.
100%. Yeah.
I love it.
So that was our, and then we went back to the campground for my birthday dinner, and we couldn't get the fire going because we were using like Safeway wood, which is the most amazing grocery store. I love Safeway, but their firewood is garbage. And yeah, we couldn't get the fire going because every year, if we're camping, every year I have a steak dinner for my birthday. And if we're camping, it's like the best steak you've ever had in your life. And he couldn't get the fire going. I'm like, I'm fine with, I think we might have had soup or beans and hot dogs, like camping food, whatever. Awful things that you should not eat in regular life.
It sounds fabulous.
But when you're camping, that's kind of what you have to eat.
Yes.
And then I treated myself to 2 s'mores because it was my birthday. I treated myself many nights to 2 s'mores.
Listen, you did a lot of hiking.
I did.
There was a lot
of energy that was being expelled, and I did not come back heavier, so that is also good. But yeah, no, I was like, whatever I want to do is what I'm going to do. I'm here.
You came back lighter in a lot of different ways.
In all aspects of life. Like, I came back to my day job, and I just didn't care. And people would try to come to me with energy of 2 weeks ago, and I was like, nope, that energy is gone. That
trying
person
to pull
doesn't
you
even,
down, or like heavier, denser
but
energy.
Not even realizing that that's what they're doing.
Right.
Not even, because they're still staying, and that is one of the beautiful things about travel that I love about travel, is you're staying, you're moving, and you're seeing new things, and you're not stuck in what happened yesterday isn't what's happening today. It's something totally new. Mm-hmm. So when you travel a lot and you come back and you are around people, which are people that are amazing, people that I love them so much, and they're like, hey, remember 3 weeks ago before you left and this happened? I remember, but I don't have the energy to talk about it. And I kind of, with somebody that I love very much, who's been very important to me for the last 15, 20 years, I said, we're not having these discussions anymore, at all, ever. And
was it just cycling the past, or just emotion?
It was cycle. It was things that still are happening today, but that we can't control. Specifically when it comes to our job, we cannot control, and we just kind of have to give it up to the universe. And that's always been my energy. But before I left on this trip, I had gotten because we had spent 3 months at work in this horrible space. It was horrible. And I was able to let it go. I had actually found a meme on Instagram that said, I'm going off into nature to clear whatever the F that was. And that was the vibe for that trip. I am going to clear whatever has happened in the last year, specifically in the last 3 months. All has to go. And it did. And then when I came back to the situation, because I have to come back, actually I don't. I choose to come back. I don't have to. I have free will. When I came back to it.
You're getting there.
I am. Oh, you don't even know. It's a little scary. When I came back to it, and I was like, no, we're not having these conversations anymore. Like,
Just
you can have them with
you.
other people. That's totally. And then I did reach out to her later that night, and I said, I don't know if it came off as harsh, but whatever I've just been through has been pretty profound for me and life-changing, and I want to stay in that high vibration. She was like, absolutely. She's like, she said, you know, that's the vibration I want you in, because it lifts me into that vibration, because she doesn't want to be down there either, but she's, you know.
When you're in that cycle, it's just circulated, which is why travel and retreats and doing something and changing the scenery and breaking that pattern helps for healing and uplifting. But you're also focused on spiritual work and going to spiritual sites, and there's an intention behind what you're doing. And I'm telling you,
It's to heal.
all of that was, it's just, I felt you so grounded when you came to class. It was just, you could see it. It was Nick too.
Yeah.
It was Nick too. I was like, and then he's I don't know, I could just tell an energy shift, and I felt, okay, I see you guys so connected to the earth. This is coming. I know it's an intention. And I know when you go from that high vibration and going back into any type of circumstance, work or whatever, there can be a little bit of lower vibration, because you got to get your wheels spinning
re-entry.
again. It's a little bit heavy sometimes, so you just have to know it.
Come back to Earth.
Re-entry.
Oh, this re-entry is rough.
Yes, you'll get back into it, but
Yeah.
you're different, and that you carry that. And I think that's why. And for me, just the retreats and the things that we do when we're working on spiritual and cleaning and clearing the body and the mind and the spirit, and, you know, healing in any way, minimum of 3 days, like minimum. You really need more, but if you're going to just try to have that, you need a minimum of 3 days to. And it's not like I'm going away from the weekend. It's different, because you're doing the work. You're doing the work with it, but you're seeing. There's something about the trees. Remember, we were in class, and I was like, I felt after I did we did this session. We did a little session that came through. I didn't know what it was, but my question to you was, something happened in the trees. Tell me about the trees. What happened?
I don't even know.
And you were like, you said everything happened.
Everything, and I couldn't even explain it. Like what was going, and it was a different, because we did Mount Shasta and Lassen together, and then we went. We kind of closed all of that out. We spent another day after in Mount Shasta, and we camped on the mountain. So Andrew, our guide, showed us, he was like, okay, there's campsites here, there's all these places that we could go. This is where I suggest you go tomorrow. This is where you should hike. Panther Meadows had a sacred well, and it was full of butterflies. And
oh my gosh.
Like the butterflies, you would have died.
What? No, tell me, because I love butterflies.
Just all colors of the rainbow, every color you can imagine, everywhere. Wildflowers, water.
Okay. You know what this feels like?
You have to go.
I know it's a different energy, but where is it over in the Chalice Well over in England? There's that sacred well, and then there's the flowers and all the energy. It feels like we're talking about these sacred sites. They carry these different.
Yes.
It's not the same, but
Native
it's.
American
Oh yes.
sacred site.
Oh really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. So
and the butterflies. I would just be like, okay, you guys leave. I'll be here. I'll be here.
Yeah. I didn't want to leave, but it was like nighttime's coming, Carrie. Like we got to get out of here. And I was like, oh, can we stay? No, you can't. And there's even signs that say, please do not bring your loved one's remains here. This is like, this is a sacred area. Any remains that are found, we will, be
They'll have to be
removed.
Yeah.
But I can understand why you would want to leave somebody there,
Absolutely.
right? Like I would love to have that my final resting place. That would be amazing. But yeah, so we hiked Panther Meadows, and we what else did we do? Oh, and then that night that we stayed in the forest, there was a couple other campers around, and we got the fire going because we found some really dry wood, which was amazing. And we stayed in the forest, and Nick got the fire going, and the food was going, and there was a farmer's market on my birthday that Monday, and we found these huge mushrooms, and Nick was like cutting them up and cooking them, and the steak was made, and it was so delicious. And like, it was such a vibe, and we were in the trees, and it was quiet, and it was amazing, and we were eating, and the Kendrick Lamar song, Not Like Us, came on, and I was like, they're not like us. Like, we are like living our best lives out here. And in that instant, I knew, I have to go back to my life, but this has to be how I live my life from now on. Like, I have to get out and travel, and I was just like, it was just magical. That night, I took a picture of Nick. I sent it to you. That was the night that green was over him. I don't know what that was.
I've seen that from another teacher. She's an energy practitioner, and she went there with a group, and she had the green over her.
Yeah, you get a lot of that. And I went back and looked through my photos, a lot of photos with the violet ray, because one of the ascended masters, Saint Germain, it was believed that he lived there for like 170 years, I believe, something like that. They have a whole community around it, very secretive, not secretive, very private.
Sacred.
They don't really let outsiders in. It's called the I Am community. And so there's a lot of pictures of people with the violet rays, the violet flame energy out there, which was something that you had mentioned to me. Gosh, when did we do that class? March or April. And so I picked up a book on that, and then, I've started getting into that since I've been back. But yeah, it was.
Tell me, you said something about the Valley of the Giants. Can you tell me a little bit more? We didn't really talk about it. So what is that, or what experience did you have there?
So when we finally did leave Mount Shasta, which was sad after finding some of the best cinnamon rolls of our lives, because the donut place was closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which is when we were there.
So where'd you get the cinnamon rolls? Were
cinnamon
they delicious?
Rolls, delicious. Seven Suns Cafe, must go. There's also a place, I think it was called Theory Coffee. You can't miss it. It's right on the main road. And then what was the other place? Oh, that was over in the Redwoods. Oh yeah, I'll talk about that one. That was in the Redwoods. That one was amazing. I was like, I'd really like to go to the Redwoods. I really felt like I needed to go back there. I'd been there once before, 8 years ago. But we had our kids with us, which was amazing for them to see something like that. But it was just going to be a different experience. So I said, I'd really like to go to the Redwoods if we can. You have to drive. I mean, you could go across and go through all that wilderness. It's just faster, easier, safer to go up to Oregon and then back down through the Redwoods. So we left Mount Shasta on Wednesday afternoon, and we traveled to Oregon, which is where my husband's from. And we were looking for a dispersed campsite, and we go down this like rickety road that is filled with potholes, but it's like it's this wide and the potholes are this wide. And you're like, it was on the way in, it was fine because you're on the side where safety is, but on the way out, like you're kind of like leaning, hoping you're like,
oh my goodness.
But it was called $8 Mountain. And I was like, I don't know, and it turned into gravel at some point, and I was like, I don't know about this, and he's like, we'll find something. And then the moment I said, I don't think there's any campsites here, literally we see a camper van. And he's like, there's one. And I was like, oh. And he's like, and there's one right next to it. And he's like, should we go up a little? I was like, yeah. We went up a little. It got a little bit scarier. But so we came back down, took that other campsite, and we stayed there. And it was totally different wilderness. Skinny trees on a mountain in Oregon. Beautiful though, like the wind. It was great. Great night camping there. And then the next day we drove into the Redwoods, and I don't even know how to, you have to go see them. There's no way that you can describe a tree trunk as wide as this room, like, and 700 feet tall, and there was a whole forest of them that were cut down, and only 5% of the redwood forest still exists. But it's enough. I mean, it's enough, but like to just imagine that we had all of that.
Wow.
And what we replaced it with, towns and factories and things, but just so gorgeous. And like, you just, when we stopped and we got out and we started walking, I was like, I have to hug the tree.
Is that
take
the
a picture?
Is that the one you sent where you're so
Yeah,
peaceful
yeah, I'm
and
just like,
so joy? So much joy.
It's like, yeah, hug it. If you ever feel bad about yourself or about what is happening in your life, go out in nature, doesn't matter where, and hug a tree. It just makes you feel good. Like, just take a breath and just hug it and just give everything to the tree. And what the tree gives back to you is like so beautiful and healing. And I'm just like, you got the picture? He's like, yeah, I got the picture like five minutes ago. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, now go over here and hug it this way. And I hug it. I'm like, okay. Like, we'll do it from every single angle. I have to say, growing up, I was always scared of climbing trees because it was like, you're going to hurt yourself. That's what was told to me. Don't do that. You'll hurt yourself. Don't do that. You'll hurt yourself. So there was that fear of trees. I want to live in one of those trees, man. They're so beautiful, and it was so quiet, and it's so green. I mean, even the roots, I sent you that picture. The roots are like 3 times the size of me, and then you have trees growing out of trees and trees growing out of rocks, and it's just like, nature is so amazing and beautiful. So then we're like, okay, where are we going to camp tonight? And we kind of look at this spot, and I was like, oh, this looks good. And it says it's in a riverbed, and you have to be very careful as to where you choose to camp, because there's a part that's close to the state park that's private land, and they will come and they will tell you to like leave, as they should. So I was like, I don't know which one. So we go down through the redwoods, and we get to, it's called the Avenue of the Giants. It's right at the end of, or the beginning of, the Redwood National Forest. And so we get off of that exit, and it's just like this little side road in the middle of the Avenue of the Giants, which was the picture that I showed you of all of them. In the middle of that, there's just this little side road, and we just pull off of there. It's gravel. It takes you right down to the riverbed. We're like, this looks good. If we're not supposed to be here, because this is how people get to their homes on the other side. Like, this is like a roadway for them. And I was like, okay, this looks good. We built a little fire pit. We started. Nobody bothered us, and it was just, that was a wild night. That was crazy. Okay, so we stopped in Weed, California, and we got some weed. And she recommended this drink, and it was very tasty. And I might have drank the whole thing on my own, not really remembering what the side effects would be. So I was like, at one point I had the awareness that I was like, I'm maybe a little bit too high and in this situation. And I was like, oh my, and then I was like, okay, sober up. And it was just so magical, because there was a river flowing by us, because we're in the riverbed, and there's otters, and there's mountains, and it was like something from the movie Pete's Dragon. That's all I could think of when I was there, was because they showed this beautiful landscape of Oregon and Northern California in that movie. And that's what it was. It was just so beautiful. And then when we got back on the road the next day, to realize that we were like right there, I don't even have words. I just don't have words. So it's like, I just love traveling and being out there. And then that was the point of the vacation where I was like, or the trip, I don't even know if it was a vacation, where I was like, I'm only going home because I have 2 children there. I could quit my job and figure it out here if I had to. But
your spirit knows, your heart knows where the real happiness is, the joy is, what it's really found. People, you can live like this. You can choose to live that way. Yeah. And like the gentleman who took you on the journey, it's like, how do you get filled in your body, your mind, and your spirit? And that's really the complete package. And so when you're out there and you're in it, you're like, yeah, this is good. I'll just take that tree over there. We'll be fine. And we'll be fine.
Yeah, but also I think the perception is you're on vacation and this isn't sustainable and you can't live this way and you can't always be this happy. And yeah, I mean, was it great when like we couldn't eat in the morning because we couldn't get the camper van stove going? Yeah, it wasn't great, but we figured it out. And I think when you're in these situations, especially when you're traveling and you have to figure things out, you're just like, okay, there's no choice, we have to figure it out. Whereas when we're in this environment, this more comfortable environment, it's just, I don't have to figure it out. It won't figure itself out, but like, it's just too easy. I think the beauty of life is in things being a little bit more difficult, and not showering for 7 days.
Not showering for
but
7
going to the salon to get your hair blown out because we can't be looking greasy.
Yeah, it's so enjoyable. And I think just for, the retreat space that I originally had in the mountains in North Carolina, it was a lot of work. There was a lot of tears and there was a lot to make it happen. But then it was living in that magical place every day. It was hard work. It was hands in the soil. It was, growing your own food, and it was keeping everything looking beautiful. That's the joy of it. And so it's that exchange of energy, and not sitting and watching TV. I don't know how you guys would even sit and watch TV. I have so much to do. I'm so busy, but it was living in mine was the healing sanctuary, 16 acres of place to go and sit by the water, and bringing people like to see and be in that energy of transformation. A lot of work. Yeah. Loved every second of it. And it was kind of like blinders on when you finally have your mission, and then you're developing it, creating it, at least for me when I was doing it. But then it's just so rewarding to grow your own food and eat your own, what you've, that exchange of energy and that gratitude and giving thanks to the earth, and it's just so, the food, I feel so happy, and just such a great exchange, planting the flowers, just being a part and making things look beautiful. And just sitting. So what do you do? And people are like, well, I brought my dad out there. I'm not throwing him under the bus a little bit, but maybe a tad bit. He's constant chronic stress. Stuff is going on. If it's not going on, things will be created. It's always been like this. He's older, he's in his 70s, and it's just this how the life has been. So when he came out there to visit, and I knew, because I took people on retreats there, I know when you settle in the energy, things will start to shift. You need a few days. Took him longer to be, and he's like, well, what are we going to do? And I'm like, you're doing it. I said, because you're so chronically, it's like I have to have things to fill the space, or I got to look at I'm like, okay, we're getting rid of the phones. Yeah. You're gonna, and he's like, well, the signal's not the best. And I go, that's intentional. Yeah. We're not.
That's on purpose.
Yes, you are going to put this down for a little while. And so there's a little bit of anxiety and tension of what's going on. What if I'm like, this is what we're doing right now in the present moment. And then after about 4 or 5 days, it typically takes a little less, but it took a while to unwind and settle. And I said, we're going to sit outside and we're going to listen to the birds and we're going to walk down here. We're going to listen to the water. We're going to do breath work. We're going to do all these things. Only at night, when the sun was down and we were finished, could he watch TV? Because I'm like, you're not going to sit inside and watch TV.
No.
This is for, and I said, and I had to bring a TV in because that's not what it was for,
Right.
because I knew that that was kind of their thing they do at night. And so not a problem, but I said, we're going to really invest. It was the first time that he had had a dream about his dad since he had passed 40 or 50 years.
Wow.
Like he passed young.
Wow.
And he hadn't had any dreams. Maybe it was 40 years. But he said, I woke up and he came out and I said, okay, how'd you sleep? And he started crying. And I was like, what happened? And he said, I had a dream about my dad. And he came in and he hugged me. And he was just crying. He said, I haven't had a dream about my dad since he passed. And I said, this is what happens when you can get into stillness, when you can put yourself in nature, get rid of the signals, get rid of the phones, and just be present.
Yeah.
And he said, you're loving this right now. And I said, I kind of am, because this is why you came out here.
Yeah.
I said, and you're in it.
Yes.
And so it's so important. It's so important.
The dreams, I will say the dreams I was having,
Yeah.
like very lucid, very vivid, very...
as soon as you
write 'em
started,
down.
or when you went to in the trees, do you remember?
I would say it was the first dream that I remember having was when we camped on the mountain in Mount Shasta. And so then the next 4 or 5 nights, but also when I came home, I told you this, when I came home, the first couple of nights, it was me sleeping, but I was awake in my dream state. I mean, the bag's under my eyes. It's crazy because I'm still having very vivid.
Your heart, you left your heart back at the Mount
It's
Shasta.
there, man. It's there.
Your spirit's
it's
going back there.
I literally did leave my heart in Mount Shasta.
I know you did.
But yeah, so it's definitely there, and I'm definitely going back. I think it's going to be kind of like Sedona, where there's not going to be a large amount of time that passes in between visits. I think we went to Sedona Christmas of last year, and we're going back 11 months later. So 11. Yeah, and in the 11th month, we'll be there for 11/11.
11/11.
So
I want to say, the trees.
and we were there on 10/10.
Were you really?
Yeah.
10/10.
10/10. That was the night we were in the Avenue of the Giants and all of that.
And 10/10 was just super powerful energy in general. We kind of talked about that. Wow. So when I went and camped out, going through some things, and I'm like, I got to be out in nature, and that's where these old, I call them grandfather trees, massive trees out in Tennessee, and it took me a little while to settle. It took me probably about seven days or more, and then after I started 7 days to 2 weeks, then I started dreaming. And it's like the trees are grounding you into this energy. I felt protected, I felt supported, and all of this, and then the dreams started coming, and I'm thinking, I love to dream. So I'm like,
me too.
I'm remembering the dreams, and they're amazing. I got to write these down because they were really vivid. So and I think we talked about that in class, and that's why I'm like, wow, what did the trees do? Because you've shifted.
What just happened when you were talking about grandfather trees was these are creator trees. These aren't, and I was thinking, those are grandfather trees, these are great. I was like, no, these are creator trees. And you are in that energy of the creator out there. And it's like, you can do anything. Philippians 3:14 is one of my favorite Bible verses. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I felt like I could do anything. I still have that feeling. Everything that has come my way since I've been home, and it's the other day you were like, I want you to do an energy session for me when you come over, and I was like, 6 months ago, what would my reaction have been when you sprung it on me back in May? And I was like,
I was like, yes,
I can
but
do
you're
it.
forcing me.
I can do it. I can do all the things that I want to do that are of the highest vibration for my higher good. I can do it all. I can do it all. I can do. Then that's what I got from. That's what happened in the trees.
That's what happened.
Yeah,
in
the
the
creator
trees.
came through and was like, "No, you can do all of this."
All things.
Yeah.
You can feel it when you came into class when Nick was here. I mean, I could just feel the energy, and I'm like, this feels so clean and grounded, and that's what the trees. I mean, they're that deepest root connection. I think just to kind of finalize this. When we're talking about the 11:11 and being in Sedona, because it's another sacred site we can talk about. Again, I haven't been to Mount Shasta so many times. I've driven through, I've driven around. I've been to the Goonies house. I got to go see the Goonies.
Did you?
Yes,
I
I
haven't
had
even
to.
done that.
I had to do it, and there was other people there too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I just love it because one of my favorite movies, and still to
As
this
it
day,
should be.
one of my favorite.
As
movies.
it should be.
I have all my favorites, but the 11:11 in Sedona, we're doing the group retreat, and this is my 15th annual group retreat, so that'll be the 7th, 8th, and 9th. On 11:11, we meet a couple of us, and you and your husband are going to do a sacred activation in a special spot that I'd like to. That's going to be in between the four directions and in like a sacred space that I like to go to because of the energy vibration that it holds, and it's like connected to 4 different main vortex points. But just the other day I had a session with one of the ladies who's going to be involved, and if the day opens up and you have the time, the 3 of us are going to head over to there's no name for it. It's just a sacred place that I was guided to like years and years and years ago. It is a little bit of a climb. It is not on the trail. You are going through, we're going to make the trail. It's more so by memory that I have to find the way. And it's a little bit of climbing. So you climb, you stop and take a breath for a while. But I feel like you really need to come. I call it a sacred steeple.
It's the year of yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And we're gonna. It's not like we need ropes or anything, but there is some not technical climbing, but there is some spots.
Okay.
But I don't know how I was guided to. I know how sacred I was guided to this spot, but it is like carved out where it goes like this, and then it goes up, and it goes like this to a point, and it's overlooking. It's overlooking Boynton Canyon, which is a really sacred energy, and we've got to finish out the day on 11:11 there. So our first event is we're going to start early. We're going to do 11:11 session, and then we'll take lunch, and then we'll head over there.
Yes.
And so
the answer is yes.
The answer is yes. And
you
so
just tell me what I'm doing.
Be a day.
You tell me.
It's so important, and I'm thinking, okay, you don't have to, but I really want you to come.
Yeah.
So
I really want to go.
Okay, good. It's going to be, and it's another one of those spots you can go through and you can find on the way. You'll see ruins of where they used to live in the mountains and different caves and things like this. And
I already know Nick's gonna die. Of joy, because this is like the type of stuff. That's the type of hiking that he wants to do.
Okay.
And I'm not even going to tell him about it.
Okay, don't say, by the way, we have an afternoon coming.
We're
going to have lunch, and then we're going to do something. There's a spot there where you can sit on, I call it, that sacred steeple. So you sit on it, and you can scoot very safely out and around, and you're kind of sitting it goes in like this, like a vase kind of looking, and you're just overlooking the canyon. It is beyond, but the energy there is off the charts.
Yes. I'm in.
And crystals all over the place. And people, anyway, I'll tell you more about how that's going to unfold. But yeah.
So exciting.
I know.
Oh my God, what a month November's going to be. I thought October was great, but geez.
This is such a powerful time for closing doors and new beginnings on so many levels and starting new things, initiations and things. October, November, and then December to finalize that, but we're really just planting those seeds for, I want to say spring is going to be taking off for new.
I'm feeling
a lot of closing and in the best way possible. And I want to say soul level, karmic level. And I can't wait. Like I'm excited. I want to be I'm trying my best always to be in the present moment, but
Yes.
I'm really excited.
Excited
for
for the
next year.
future.
Yeah, I'm excited for next year.
Yes.
I'm so excited. But I love to be in the moment. I can't wait for Sedona, and
I'm so excited.
important for travel. It's always so important for
Travel,
traveling,
nature,
and
healing.
yes, put yourself out on the land. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.